We all want to be happier, but how do we get there? First, we start by realizing happiness is not a destination. Being happy consists of micro action steps every single day. I'm your host, Brittny King, and I'm here to guide you along the way. Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to the Positively Real podcast. I'm your host and coach, Brittny King, and I'm wrapping up this healing series with a short but sweet episode for you. It's something that I touch upon throughout each episode and with my clients and just in life in general. So I wanted to record this episode for you in case you just need a little reminder to come back to. A reminder that you are not broken and that you are not a home improvement project needing to be fixed. And I really wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about why healing shouldn't be viewed as something you achieve. This is a very simple but powerful practice of self acceptance and meeting yourself where you're at, that you can really incorporate this into your day today. So, first, I want to start by saying healing is not about fixing what's broken, it's about finding peace with what is right now. And it's so easy when you start getting into personal development work, you start healing, you start growing. It's a bit of an addiction in a way. And we are constantly trying to find the next thing, going a little bit deeper and going into this place of lack and this not enoughness. And for me, it was really coming from this place of being broken or thinking there was always something inherently wrong with me. So I got really addicted to all the things that I could possibly do in the realm of growth and healing, and it's it's a really fine line. And I find with clients, we work on certain areas of their life and then we move on to the next area, and sometimes they just feel a little defeated and say things like, "Ugh, I just have so much work to do." And I always love to just reframe that. It's like we're all works in progress. No one is perfect. And when we let go of that perfectionist mindset, we stop looking at healing like something that needs to be achieved. It's not something that you check off a list, it's not something that you make it to the top. It's an ongoing process, it is a journey. And the more that you can find peace with where you're at now, the more acceptance you can bring into your life, the more acceptance you'll have for other people as well. So I view a lot of times, and I feel like I fell into this mindset of having this home improvement mentality. So many of us approach healing or personal development work, growth as a home improvement project. We look at ourselves and identify what is broken, and then we set out to fix it. And you can see why this is a problem. This mindset comes with a huge set of misconceptions, like the idea that healing is a linear process with a clear goal. It's easy to think once I fix this part of me, I'll be whole. Or when I overcome this, then I'll be happy. But this mentality just creates pressure to finish healing, which can be incredibly stressful and just really unhelpful. It's not helpful to constantly think of yourself as someone who is broken and needs to be fixed, because then we start looking at external factors of trying to solve that for us when really the answer comes from within. So, the other thing that I find problematic with this home improvement mentality is it encourages a focus on flaws or weaknesses, what needs to be fixed, rather than just accepting ourselves as perfectly imperfect humans. I've worked with plenty of clients who felt so much pressure to fix her anxiety, like it was something wrong with her. And she was treating herself like this project, and every setback felt like a failure. which only added to her stress and hindered her progress. But the thing is, if you're looking at finding help to fix your anxiety or to fix this, what you're missing out on is what the anxiety that we experience, what it's trying to tell us, right? It's like we're trying to fix anxiety. It's just going to be a never ending process because anxiety is just a human emotion that's trying to communicate with us. And as long as we're alive, humans are going to experience the emotion of anxiety. We can't fix it. So, healing is a journey. So, I want to offer a powerful reframe that might help if you fall into this trap of like needing to fix yourself. First, it's not something that you are going to reach the end of. So, my reframe offer is an ongoing journey. Instead of seeing healing as a project with a start and an end date, I want you to think of it as just a continuous process. It's about growth, it's about expansion, it's about contraction, experiences, learning along the way. There's this really beautiful video of a dahlia flower expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. And I think that that is such a beautiful way to show growth and healing, that we expand a little bit and then we contract into safety. We expand and we contract. And I think that that is a really powerful representation of what the journey is actually like, not just this big bloomed, beautiful flower. So, one of the key aspects of this journey is self acceptance, but also self compassion. When we practice self compassion, we shift the focus from achieving to experiencing. And here are some of my favorite ways to cultivate self compassion. Number one, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would with a friend. Number two, recognize that imperfection is a part of the shared human experience. And number three is practice being present with yourself, with your thoughts, your feelings, without judgment. Having that curious, compassionate mindset really helps shift from this achieving mentality to experiencing. So, one of the things that I think is important to remember is that healing is not about erasing our past or our struggles. I think that's another common misconception. It's like, oh, I need to fix this thing that happened to me in the past. What it actually means is integrating those experiences into our lives in a way that allows us to move forward with greater self awareness and self compassion. So, this is such an important piece because I think a lot of times when I start working with clients and myself, I was like, I wish these things didn't happen to me. Right. And we can fall into this victim mentality. And even if, you were circumstantially a victim of something happening to you, like it's not your fault what's happened in the past. But then it becomes a point where you kind of just have to decide. There's a threshold where you have to decide if you want to be a victim of those things that's happened in the past or a creator of your life. And the only way to do that is with so much compassion and so much self awareness. So, I want to talk about the importance of embracing the present moment in the healing journey. You know, being present and mindful of this process is so important. And when you are mindful and you're aware of what's going on inside of your body and the sensations that you experience and what comes up for you, this is crucial for acceptance. Practicing mindfulness can be as simple as just focusing on your breath. How's your breathing? Observing your thoughts without judgment, or just allowing yourself to fully engage in the activities, even if it's just for a moment. Even if you're walking without your phone, or you're playing with your kids, or you're out on a date with your partner, not having a distraction around, just being fully immersed in the experience. I've said this once or twice or 1,000 times, but this is truly about acceptance, and it plays such an important role here. It's about understanding and accepting where you are and not confusing acceptance with complacency. Accepting your current state doesn't mean that you won't strive for growth. It means you recognize your worthiness and your enoughness right now. And I think this is something that comes up all the time. Is sometimes we're like, oh, if I accept where I'm at, then I'm not going to grow. And you don't have to love where you're at, but if you just acknowledge and accept where you are, that's where you really start to make the change. So I want you to take a moment. If you're not driving, if you are driving, you can skip over this. If you have a moment, I just want you to take a quick moment of mindfulness of just checking in with how you're feeling. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, you can bring your gaze down. And I just want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and let your belly expand. And then hold it for a moment. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. And do that again and just feel the air entering your body and then leaving effortlessly. I'm just doing that a couple more times as you focus on your breath. Notice when your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to your breathing. Just practice doing this for a couple of moments. And this practice alone can help foster that self acceptance and compassion. So, to bring this concept to life, I want to share a story about one of the clients I've worked with who really started to learn to embrace her journey rather than focusing on the end goal. I had a client that was constantly trying to fix her anxiety. She was so crippled by anxiety that it would stop her from doing a lot of things, it would stop her from driving, it would stop her from going to events. It was just controlling her life. And when she came to me, she was really kind of debilitated by it and she wanted to fix it. And what we worked on together was just accepting her anxiety as a part of being a human. And instead of fighting against our natural humanness to feel certain emotions, she was able to shift her daily life significantly. She was able to drive on the highway again. She was able to show up to events. She was able to show up for her kids' events without anxiety. She was able to be present for their lives. And being able to do this helped her embrace exactly where she was. She didn't have to try to find the root of why she felt anxious in these situations. She just embraced herself where she was at. And it led to her living such a more fulfilling, real, authentic life. And I think that that is one of the things that we miss out on is when we're trying to fix ourselves, we miss out on the opportunity to really get to know ourselves and come back home to ourselves, because that's really what healing is about. It's about coming back to the wholeness that we already are. We are already whole exactly as we are. We come into the world whole, and then we have these experiences that make us fragmented and make us feel like we're not whole, but we still are. Our essence is still that way. So when you do this work and you don't look at healing like a destination, something you have to check off the list, something you achieve, it really helps you learn about coming home to yourself. So I want to share, I've talked a lot about self-compassion, and Christine Neff has written books, and she pretty much has dedicated her whole mission, vocation to compassion. And one of my favorite things I've learned from her is called the compassion break. And this is a simple practice you can cultivate in self kindness, especially in moments of difficulty. A lot of times we're hard on ourselves when we mess up, and we feel shame and we think something's wrong with us and we judge ourselves. When we do that, we can't learn and grow. Self compassion actually keeps us on the hook for learning and for evolving and understanding ourselves. And so the self compassion break really helps you when you are in a moment of struggle or stress. So, next time you're in a moment of struggle or stress, try this. First, mindfulness. Acknowledge the difficulty you're experiencing. Say to yourself, in this moment, I'm feeling anxiety. In this moment, I'm feeling anger. In this moment, I'm feeling guilt. Whatever the emotion is, whatever's going on that you're experiencing, acknowledge it. Then you want to bring in the shared common humanity. Recognize that this is just a part of life. Anxiety is a part of life. Feeling guilty is a part of life. You can say, Anxiety is a part of the shared human experience. I am not alone. Someone else is feeling this right now. And then the last is self kindness. Offer yourself kindness. Put your hand on your heart and say, may I be kind to myself in this moment? And feel the warmth of your hand and let it remind you of the compassion that you deserve. And I like to take this a step further is I like to go do something kind for myself. I've shared this before, but I do think it's so simple and it's so incredibly effective. It's so effective. I love doing the compassion breaks, especially when I'm having a hard time. When I'm having a hard time and then I just want to ignore and beat myself up and criticize. This is now my go to. So I hope this episode serves as a reminder to you that you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You're not a home improvement project. But through acceptance and self compassion, you can really honor yourself throughout your journey of self discovery and growth by reframing your mindset, practicing self compassion, embracing the present moment. You truly can find peace with where you are right now. That doesn't mean you're not going to heal, you're not going to grow, you're going to evolve. That's all a part of it. But truly meeting yourself where you're at is the key. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you bookmark it and come back to it whenever you need just that little pocket reminder. Thank you so, so much for listening to this episode. Remember to love yourself, own your happiness, and let your light shine because you're so worthy of it. Until next time.